Hello students, this is Ujjwala Bhandiwad, lecturer from KLS Gokte PU College of Commerce and Science, Belagavi. Students, in the last class, I have started with a new chapter, that is Constructors and Destructors. In that chapter, we have learnt what is constructor, types of constructors, and also I have taught one type of constructor. Okay, let me recall what we have learned last class. Constructor means it is a special member function which is used to initialize the objects of a class automatically. Okay, basically there are three types of constructors are there. They are, first one is default constructor, second one is parameterized constructor, and third one is copy constructor. So earlier we have seen how the default constructor works with the help of example. In today's class we are focusing on parameterized constructor and copy constructor. So first let me define what is a parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor means it is a constructor that takes one or more arguments, which is known as parameterized constructor. Here arguments means the variables, okay, which hold the value. Okay. Features means what? Some characteristics of parameterized constructor. See, when I taught earlier the default constructor, I have told you that you can create n number of objects, but all the objects will be initialized with the same set of values. Okay, this was the feature of default constructor. But when I take the parameterized constructor, okay, first feature is it is possible to initialize the different objects with different values. This is very important, students. Okay. Second feature is the parameterized constructors can be overloaded. Okay. And the third one is for the object created with one argument, constructor with only one argument is invoked and executed. Yes, students, to understand these qualities or these characteristics, we have to consider one programming example. So students, let me show here one programming example for the parameterized constructor. Okay, you can see here we are beginning with the header file iostream.h. Then I have defined one class. The name of the class is num, N-U-M. Now I have taken private access specifier where I have declared two variables. They are A and B. They are of the data type integer, means they hold the integer value. Next I have defined public access specifier. Here you can see I have taken a constructor. How to identify constructor? I have told you in the last class that the name of the class and the name of the function should be same. Then we have to identify it is a constructor. See here, name of the class is num. Here again function name is also num. Okay, so this is the constructor. This is not the simple constructor, it is a parameterized constructor. So how I will say parameterized? You can see inside the num function, again I have taken two values. They are P and Q. These P and Q are the arguments or variables of the data type integer. Okay. Inside the function num, I am initializing A value is equal to P and B value is equal to Q. Okay. Next, one more function I have taken, that is void display, where I am displaying the values of A and B. You can see here C out as A and B is equal to the value B. I have declared it like this. Endl indicates the end of the line. Okay. So in this way I have created one class. Now next, you can see here in the screen void main. Main is the function we know. In that, I have created, okay, object 1 of the class num. You can see here num is the class name. ob1 is the object name of the class num. And I am initializing means I am giving the starting value for the function num. I know that num function uses two values. Okay, they are of the type integer only. They cannot be decimal values. Okay, so I am putting num is inside the bracket 10 comma 20. Okay, here next line I have created one more object obj2 of the class num and I have initialized the value 40 and 50. You can take any values, non-fractional values you have to take, because I have defined them as a integer values. Okay, so when after that I am using first constructor values. See here I want to display the values of first constructor obj1 dot display I am doing, and in the second display function I will display the values of the second object of the constructor. They are obj2 dot display. So when I run this program, what will happen? The output will be, see here, the output will be shown as it is. That is, A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20 in the first constructor value, and in the second case we will be having A is equal to 40 and B is equal to 50. See, as I have told, the characteristic of a parameterized constructor is that you can create any number of objects and all the objects will be having different set of values. It is possible to initialize different set of values with the help of parameterized constructor. So in this way you can see the output. Okay, so students, this default constructor, parameterized constructor with the C++ programming example are important for 5 marks point of view. Next, the third type is copy constructor. Copy constructor is defined as a parameterized constructor using which one object can be copied to another object. Means what? One object is going to be copied to another object. Earlier, see, I was talking only about the arguments or the variables. We are not talking now arguments or variables. We are copying entire one object with the another object. Okay. What are the characteristics of this constructor is, it is not invoked explicitly. Okay. Copy constructor is invoked automatically when the new object is created and equated to the already existing object. Okay, in the declaration statement itself. See, for example, let me show you with a simple example here. Suppose I have a class X and I want to create one object, say A1. How I will write? I write it as X A1 semicolon. Okay, then I have one more object of the class X, that is A2. Then what I will write? X A2. Okay, but here I can create the copy constructor. How? A2 is equal to A1, then A2 will become a copy constructor. How? Because all the, you can say, parameters or the entire object of A1 is copied into A2. Okay, then I can write any function a1 dot display I can write. Okay, so this is the simple, you can say, copy constructor. Now the third and the last we can see type of constructor, copy constructor, we have completed. Now at the end of this chapter we will be having about the discussion on destructors. Okay, till now I told what is constructor. Constructor means it is used to initialize the object. But destructor, when I am telling what is destructor, see, definition is important as well as its features. Destructor means it is a special member function that will be executed automatically when the object is destroyed. Okay, object is destroyed means what? Whatever the object is created, okay, whatever the object is created, okay, then it will occupy certain memory. Deallocating that memory means releasing that memory is nothing but we call it as destroying. Okay, so this is about the destructor. What are the features of destructor? Destructor actually have a same name as that of a class. See, constructor also has the same name as that of the class. Destructor also has the same name as that of the class. Then how to identify which is constructor, which is destructor? For that purpose, you must remember that the first character of the destructor is tilde. Tilde. You can see here. It is shown here. The tilde character, the destructor begins with the tilde character. Okay. They do not have any return value. They take no arguments, therefore they cannot be overloaded. Means it doesn't have any parameters or variables, hence it cannot be overloaded. Next, most common use of destructor is to deallocate the memory that was allocated by the object when the constructor is being created. Okay. Also, they are declared in the public section. Means what? Always destructors are declared in the public section, means public access specifier it is associated. And the second thing is it begins with the tilde character, so we can able to identify, okay, this is constructor, this is destructor. To show you that, let me show you here one simple syntax. See, class name, private. You can write any data variables. Methods means the various functions. Okay, in public section you can see class name, if I write same as it is as like a function, it is going to be constructor. But when it begins with the tilde character, you can see here, when it begins with the tilde character, it is called as destructor. Okay, so this is the, you can say, the syntax of destructor. Let me show you one example. Suppose I have a class, okay, called counter. Name of the class is counter. Here I have taken one variable called C, which is of the data type integer. So constructor, you can see here constructor same name as of a class name. In that I have initialized the value of C as 0. C is equal to 0. But when I write the destructor, I write the same class name, but I begin with the character tilde. Okay. So students, please remember what is destructor with the syntax and example. Okay. Now at the end of this chapter, we will have a few question and answers. Okay. First question is write the rules for writing a constructor function. Students, I have discussed in the beginning of this class the various, you can say, rules before we write the constructor. First rule is it will always have a same name as that of the class name. Second rule is it doesn't have any return type. Okay, and it is always declared in the public section, constructors as well as destructors. Okay, they are invoked automatically. Okay, so these are the few rules of the constructor. Next they have asked is explain the parameterized constructor with syntax and example. You have to write the syntax, and example means that C++ program 5-mark question it is, you have to remember it. Features of copy constructor, just now I have discussed, you can just go through that. Explain the destructor with syntax and example. The same syntax and example what we have discussed right now, you can give that for 5 marks. Write the rules of writing the constructor functions. The same answer you can write for 5 marks. Any 5 rules you can define it. Okay. So here the constructor and a destructor chapter gets over. It is completed here. Again we will be continuing with a new chapter in the next class. So thank you students.